Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Are you feeling stressed out about the economy? I know a lot of you are, and it's understandable. There's a lot going on right now, and it seems to be picking up. It seems to be getting worse. So in this video, I want to offer some perspectives, perhaps some shifts, as well as some things you can actually do to help yourself navigate through this if you are feeling stressed, disempowered, kind of hopeless, not sure what to do. Now, you could be in one of a number of different scenarios. You could be in your job where you're not happy. You're thinking maybe now is not the time to make a switch because of what's going on. You might be somebody who's been thinking of making a career change, but again, going might not be the right time. Maybe wait till things feel more stable. And you also could be somebody who's, unfortunately been part of the layoffs. We've seen them happening for a while now, and they don't seem to be stopping. We seem to be, every time I turn on LinkedIn, I see more and more. Or you could just be somebody who's just generally feeling anxiety about the situation. That's understandable, right? There's a lot of negative news coming at us. So I'm going to offer about 4 different perspective shifts. They were kind of hard to break down. They blend into each other, but anyways, for purposes, I'll say there was 4. So the first is, as I'm actually going to give you a suggestion and offer it, take it or leave it as you wish, as always. Turn off the news. I think we all know what's going on. I think we all can see it. We've had inflation, and as a result of inflation, interest rates are going up. As a result of that, somewhere down the road, housing prices are going to fall. Companies are contracting, they're laying off. We know how this goes. We've been in economic downturns, we've been in recessions before. We know how this plays out. Yes, the circumstances are different this time, they always are. But how it plays out is very similar. So be mindful of how much you are actually tuning into the news. It can become actually quite addictive. It's like we want to know what's going to happen. We listen to all these experts who have all these predictions. The truth of the matter is, this is unfolding in real time. First of all, it's unfolding. Actually, how we are responding to what's happening is actually creating our future. If we decide we are completely in a recession and we all shut down and lock down and just go like this, it actually makes it worse, and it makes it worse faster. Now, I'm not saying you go out and spend a whole bunch of money that you don't have. It's not what I'm saying at all. But when we choose to restrict ourselves and really pull back, that's actually what makes it worse, okay? Second of all, within that, watching the news, is it actually making you feel good? I stopped watching the news over 10 years ago. I haven't even had cable for over 10 years. Every time I watched it, I felt awful. I just felt awful about everything, about the world, the situation, everything. There's a difference between being informed and being absorbed by something. So there's a line somewhere in there. If you find yourself, listening to the news in the morning before you work, listening to it while you have your dinner and just inundating with yourself, that is a lot of negativity coming at you. It's hard to stay positive when you are being inundated with negative information. So just be mindful, where is that line? And try to wean yourself off it. Don't expect yourself necessarily to come off it right away, but start questioning, why am I watching this? Really? Why am I watching this? Why do I feel the need to know what's going on or have people predict? Because like I said, those experts, they're guessing just as much as we are. They may be making more, they may have more data, right, than we do, but at the end of the day, they are just guesses and predictions, and we can do far better by tuning ourselves out of that and connecting to what it is we really, really want. Second thing, this is for people who are maybe in a job, so you haven't actually necessarily lost your job, but you're in a job where you're not happy, you're thinking of changing jobs, changing careers, making some sort of change, but you're feeling like now is not the time because of what's going on. And this is really a shift that is going on as a collective over the last couple years. And I'll just unpack that for you. What I mean is, we have been conditioned and sort of socialized to the idea that we are to look to something outside of us for safety and security. So how that would look in a job situation is looking to a company to keep us safe during this time of an economic downturn. But what we've actually witnessed for sure in the last couple years is layoffs. You know, and we've seen some pretty brutal ones. I mean, if depending on what, social media platform or what you're listening to, but some really ones like done over Zoom, like massive layoffs done over Zoom, people not getting very good packages when they leave, just being, felt like they've been tossed out. When times get tough, we're just going to kind of almost get rid of you. And so what is that really telling us? We could get cynical and say, oh, the world's an awful place. We could go down that road. That's an option always available to you. Blame a company, do all that kind of thing. But if you dig a little bit deeper, and if you're open to digging a little deeper, what it's really saying is safety and security needs to come from each and every one of us, from ourselves. I'm just going to share a bit about myself here. I've never actually been worried about losing my job ever. I've thought it might happen, and I've had an awareness, and you kind of plan sometimes because you don't know, right? Things might happen, but I've never been worried. And I'll share the reason why. The reason is I invest in myself all the time. I have been investing, I've never not invested in myself. To be honest with you, I have always invested in myself from when, honestly, since I was, out of high school, like truthfully, I have always invested in myself. So I've always had this awareness that whatever happens with a company, I am trusting me. I'm the one who will get a new job. I will figure this out. I don't need something outside of me to make me feel safe. And the problem is when we actually do that, when we rely on something outside of us to make us feel safe and secure, we disempower ourselves. We actually hand over our power, we hand over the control of our lives over to somebody else. And that's why it doesn't feel very good. And that's why you might be feeling anxious or stressed. Have you given away all your power over to a company, a leader, a government to fix this, whatever it might be? When we give our power away is when we truly feel that anxiety and stress. And it makes sense if you think about it. If you don't actually feel like you have the ability to change your circumstances, you're waiting for somebody outside of you, doesn't feel very good. So that brings me to the third thing I want to talk about today. Investing in yourself. If you right now are feeling disempowered, scared, anxious, whatever it might be, whatever situation you are in, invest in yourself. That might be time, or that might be time and money. So if you're concerned about, say, your job, and maybe invest in a new skill. Invest even in just a mindset shift, like spend some time shifting some of your mindset so you feel more empowered. If you have lost your job and you're starting to feel really discouraged, it might mean spending a half an hour a day going onto YouTube and listening to somebody with empowering words and new perspectives to help you feel more empowered. It might be meditating if you're feeling really stressed and anxious. There are so many resources out there. We don't live in an age where there is a lack of resources. Truthfully, we live in an age where there's a lack of follow through. It's all there. It's whether you choose to partake in that or not. And you may say, I don't have time, I don't have money. And I'm going to challenge both of those right off the mark. I'm starting to share my story more about my career change and what I went through, because I don't think I'm special. I share it because it's just an example of what you can do when you set your mind to it. I made a career change while being a single parent, working full time in a very demanding career as a CPA, owning a home, like taking care of a house, the yard and everything that goes along with that, and not having a lot of, I don't have family support much, or financial support, any of those things. And I only bring that up because I want you to have an awareness that you are bigger than whatever you are in. Whatever your circumstances might be, you are bigger than those. It might mean downloading a podcast and listening to it while you commute to work. If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. If you're a busy parent and it's taking 5 minutes to spend some time breathing and centering and anchoring to yourself, that's what it means for you now. If you don't have money to invest in a coach or a program or anything else, that's okay. There's lots of free resources. There's so much available out there. It's about making a decision that you don't want to stay where you are. We're either moving forward or we are moving backward. We are never staying the same. So if you're feeling stuck, you're not actually staying the same. You're actually starting to regress backwards. But that can be changed really quickly. Doesn't mean a doomsday story. That just means having an awareness and making a different choice. And just start where you are. You don't have to go full gangbusters. If you haven't been investing in yourself and learning and growing, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get angry. Don't do any of those things. Don't judge yourself. Just in this moment of now, decide to make a new choice. Great change is not made from these great leaps. Great change is made from consistently doing things and taking steps. That's how great change is made. Consistency is, I swear to goodness, it's my word for 2022. If I could say anything, just be consistent in that. If you look back then over time, you see you've changed a lot. So just start where you are. And also know that what you need from time to time will change. There's sometimes we need like a kick in the pants. It's like, just get moving, right? Sometimes we might need to invest in self-care, to take care of ourselves, to take care of our bodies, right? You're feeling stressed. Maybe for you, investing in yourself is starting to go on a 15-minute walk on your lunch when you don't feel like you have the time. It doesn't look the same for every person, and it doesn't look the same for every person all the time. Really think about what you need and don't make it wrong. Don't think it's not the right thing. It's not what you should be doing. Ask yourself, go into some quiet space. Ask yourself what it is that you really need to invest in you to help you move forward, to help you feel more empowered, because that's really where we want to get to, is feeling empowered, knowing that you are the one that creates value. You have value, right? It's not the company. It's not somebody that's giving it to you that says you have this. It's you. It's you. You are safety. You are security. You are all those things, not something outside of you. This is a big shift we're going through right now. This is a lot of what's going on is teaching us, because we've spent a lot of years looking outside of ourselves for value and for all those things I mentioned: safety, security, abundance, health, everything. We look outside so often. It needs to come from inside. And that's a process, right? So that sort of leads me to the fourth and final piece, which is really looking inward. When we feel that anxiety and stress, and I talked about this just recently in this video, is really about looking inward and stopping to look out everything outside of us for the answers. Whether it's the news, whether it's a company, whether it's a leader, whomever it is beginning that process of looking inside of us and centering and grounding in who we are, really thinking about who we are, what are our values, what do we want, and not being reactive, because that's what's going to really happen in these times is we can get really reactive. We see this happening and, oh, this makes us feel this way. We see this happening and, oh, it makes us feel this way. And we don't ground into who we really are and how we want to show up and how we want to feel. That's a big shift. That's a big shift. Going from reacting to responding is a game changer in life. It really, really is. So that is another way you can really empower yourself to help you move forward and pull you out of any sense of feeling stuck. Actually, there's a bonus tip I'm going to have. Yeah, there's a bonus tip I'm going to hear. Tip number 5. If you're a person and you don't know what to do, I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling crappy, I don't know what to do, reach out. You know, we have also been conditioned to think that we're supposed to have it all figured out on our own. And I'm just to kind of call it out, I think that's crap. I think we've been conditioned to really isolate and think that we won't be loved if we have these problems. We won't be valued if people know we have these problems. People won't want to help us. All these stories that we've been going around in our society. And I'm just going to call bullshit on them. I'm going to swear, but I'm going to call bullshit on them because they're not true. They're not. Asking for help is not weakness. Asking for help doesn't mean you're not worthy. Asking for help is brave. It's flippin' brave. I'm just going to say it. It is so brave. It's showing up and saying, I don't actually know how to get out from where I'm at. Can you help me? That might be a friend. It might be a therapist. It might be a counselor. It might be a coach. It might be a relative. It might be a stranger on LinkedIn. It might be a stranger somewhere in social media. Right? Asking for help is courageous. It takes bravery. But it can be the shift that you really need. And I think sometimes it's conditioned. Well, I know sometimes it's conditioned into certain cultures. You know, whether you're a man or a woman, how family you've developed. I mean, all kinds of things go into whether you are open to asking for help. But ask for help. You know, do it. If it can help get you unstuck, help get you move forward. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Because it's only our egos that wants us to not ask for help, right? Just our ego. And we can go, okay, ego, we're good now. We're good. You know, I can do this. I can do this. It's for my highest and best good, right? So I'm going to leave this video here, and I would encourage you, if you do need help, you know, even if you're just looking for just suggestion on what resource to look towards, and you want to, you know, message me, I am open to discussing any kind of situation. We can hop on a call, whatever that might look like for you. Honestly, I feel strongly about us supporting each other during this time. This is how we get through. This is truly how we get through these times. We lean on each other, we support each other, and we all rise. It's not about one of us over here rising and the rest of you staying down here. It's about us all collectively helping each other rise up. This is what we're moving into. This is how we're changing as a collective. So I will leave this video here and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.